Good morning. My name is Connie Ganazzi, and I'm assisting Mike Wilcox with the service this morning. We are both members of the Religious Services Team, RST, and we once a month take on a service so that Jay can have a break for once a month and then fill in any other time that he is unable to be here in the pulpit. Today, our focus is on mindfulness. So our opening words are from Thich Nhat Hanh. Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the earth revolves, slowly, evenly, without rushing towards the future. Live the actual moment. Only this moment is life. If you'll join me now in the chalice lighting, the words are in your order of service. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to inspire.
Responsive reading this morning is number 597, Love versus Hate. It is from the Dhammapada, which is a collection of writings from the Buddha. Never does hatred cease by hating in return.
Only through love can hatred come to an end.
Victory breeds hatred.
The conquered dwell in sorrow and resentment.
They who give up all thought of victory or defeat
May be calm and live happily at peace.
Let us overcome violence by gentleness.
Let us overcome evil by good.
Let us overcome the miserly by liberality.
Let us overcome the liar by truth.
I have long had an interest in human psychology and how our minds work. My college education and degrees in criminology and counseling psychology assisted me not only in my professional career in social work, but also, of course, in trying to gain some insights into human behavior. In the same vein, I took a transcendental meditation class way back in my undergraduate days in Tallahassee, Florida, and meditated for a number of years when I was younger. That practice lapsed, but I did resume meditating about 6 years ago and have consistently done so over that time. In coming to this congregation 14 years ago, it opened up a spiritual realm that led me to resume meditating and learn to appreciate Eastern religions like Buddhism. As the Dalai Lama has said, Buddhist teachings are not a religion, but a science of the mind. Thus my attraction to studying Buddhism. I must also add that coming to this congregation has facilitated this growth is no surprise, for part of the mission statement of this congregation is to embrace individual searches for meaning. I found meditating, being mindful or trying to be mindful, and appreciating many of the teachings of Buddhism to be helpful and enlightening. To me, it provides a reframing how we view ourselves, our relationships with our thoughts, and their impact on how we interrelate with others and the world. Our mind is a mass generator of thoughts, and we are often not aware of their impact upon us. There are three insights of Buddhism that many Buddhist practitioners considered vital to our experience of reality. They are known as the three marks of existence. The first mark of existence is that of impermanence. It is a misperception of reality that life is something concrete that we can grasp and hold on to. Seasons change, people move in and out of our lives like those that raised and nurtured us when we were young. They leave us as well, much like a leaf falling from a tree in autumn. Life is always in a state of flux. It is like driving a car on an interstate with a constant ebb and flow of traffic that is always changing. Vehicles coming in your path from on-ramps and leaving on off-ramps. Our sensory awareness, or lack thereof, impacts our perceptions in regards to the depth of constant change in a world that is all around us. These moment-by-moment experiences are perceived by our senses: hearing, touch, taste, smell, and in the Buddhist system, the mind is the sixth sense with its thoughts, feelings, and intuitions. Literally, based on these sense awarenesses, we change how we see the world, others, and ourselves almost continually. I certainly become aware of, or mindful of these changes, especially with a constant flow of thoughts running through my mind. As the Buddha stated, and I quote, "It seems that although we thought of ourselves permanent, we are not. Although we thought ourselves settled, we are not. Although we thought we would last forever, we will not. We can try to distract ourselves, but suffering will follow us. Facing our pain and suffering honorably is the only way we can grow." End quote. The second mark of existence is that of suffering, or is dukkha in a Sanskrit word. Dukkha literally means the axle that does not fit properly into the hub of a wheel. So, you're in for a bumpy, disjointed ride in life. It is sort of a pervasive unease that permeates life, even down to the moment-to-moment experience, with feelings like anxiety, disappointment, or never being good enough. The Buddhist psychologist Jack Kornfield explains that in Buddhism there is a clear distinction between pain and suffering. And I quote, "Pain is an unavoidable aspect of the natural world. It is physical, biological, and social, woven into our existence as night with day, as hot and cold." End quote. Suffering is different from pain, Kornfield writes. Suffering is our reaction to the inevitable pain in life. The way I view it is that how we think and evaluate these painful events in our lives that transform them into suffering. Suffering is often brought about as a result of thoughts or perceived dissatisfactions with aspects of our lives. Suffering is considered the first noble truth, and there are many lists in Buddhism. It can get very confusing, but the Buddha was quite a list maker. So suffering is the first noble truth, and the second noble truth is that the cause of suffering is grasping, craving, or attachment to things which are impermanent. To hang on to life as it is or was gives rise to terms you frequently hear like, "let it go," "let it be," or "this too shall pass." As Gary Gach has written in The Complete Idiot's Guide to Buddhism, grasping is the root of all ills, stemming from the three poisons of ignorance. Ignorance being not understanding how things are, anger, and greed. The third noble truth provides an end to suffering when we let go of the three poisons and our fears, grasping, and reactions to events in life. This liberated state is called nirvana. The fourth noble truth provides a roadway out of suffering, often called the middle way, which Kornfield describes as finding peace wherever we are, here and now. It is only when we quit grasping onto or resisting the flow of life that one can find wakefulness and freedom in the midst of our joys and sorrows. The third mark of existence, and perhaps the hardest to comprehend, is the worldview is that of not self or insubstantiality. In Buddhism, to reiterate, the concept of anicca states that it is an undeniable fact of existence that nothing on this earth is ever free of change and impermanence. As Reverend Wolin said in a reflection several weeks ago on his service on identity, we are all in a state of continually becoming. Think of the Mississippi River as a metaphor, for it has an appearance of a steady, permanent entity. Yet not a single drop of water remains from one spot to another. From day to day it has the same appearance, yet it continuously moving from one point to another, from one state of existence to another, and therefore is not the same river from one moment to another. This is, of course, the same for humans. We are not the same from one moment to another, even though the person may appear to be the same. Our thoughts, feelings, judgments of ourselves and others, perceptions, and material form of the body are constantly changing. The insight is what Buddhists call seeing the waterfall. For example, one Buddhist teacher told Jack Kornfield that the average person has 17,000 thoughts per day. Our mind produces thoughts like the heart beats and pumps blood continuously throughout our bodies. The Buddha taught that our thoughts are not the self, our feelings, judgments, or anything processed from them are not the self, and the body is not the self. In other words, it is an illusion that we have a self. Like the river, no person remains the same as these thoughts, feelings, and perceptions flow through us on a continual basis. On a scientific level, our cells and our bodies are continually dividing, and the molecules that make up our body completely change every 7 years. So like every other aspect of life, our bodies or our material cells are impermanent too. The psychologist Ronald Siegel describes our Western approach to psychology is to promote a cohesive sense of self, that we are well individuated, have a clear identity with good self-esteem. Buddhist psychology, on the other hand, would stress that this illusory sense of a permanent self is what leads to suffering. This view also contributes to our feeling that we are separate from others. Ronald Siegel says that the Buddhist psychology helps us to make a subtle shift from the world is mostly about me to the world is mostly not about me. It is freeing in that regard, and we become more open and aware to the world around us. As a theology professor, Mark Musey, wrote, and I quote, "Buddhist mindfulness tradition teaches us that the self we are letting go of is a fiction, a fabrication of the mind that causes us to suffer. It is not our true identity. It is not who we really are," end quote. Buddhist practitioners believe our thoughts, feelings, and mental formations only provide an impermanent and fleeting structure to our beingness. They believe there is a life force that is the invisible core of our being. So we need to think more about our thoughts, the impact they have on how we see and act in the world, and how we relate to others. As the old saying goes, you have to represent the change you want to see in the world. Therefore, your own inner peace, which in my opinion, mindfulness, meditation, and Buddhist teachings help to bring about, will in turn help to bring about a more peaceful world. That is something I think we really need right now. So a mindfulness practice makes one aware of the continuous flow of thoughts our mind generates. We become increasingly aware of their coming and going, thus freeing ourselves from repressing or suppressing them in a strict manner. As the Tibetan Buddhist master Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche has stated, and I quote, "If you don't try to stop whatever is going on in your mind, but merely observe it, eventually you will begin to feel a tremendous sense of relaxation, a vast sense of openness within your mind, which is in fact your natural mind, the naturally unperturbed background against which various thoughts come and go," end quote. It helps one to develop an open monitoring of the mind, and thus to be more present and aware of what is going on around us. It also helps to make one aware of how just unruly the mind is. There is a Pali term, ehipasiko, which can be translated into "come and see for yourself." So we're going to do a brief guided meditation. So sit upright in your chair, close your eyes and take some deep breaths. Focus on the inhalation, exhalation of your breath, and follow the guided meditation by Mary Maddox from Meditation Oasis. Once I get it set up here.
Welcome to meditationoasis.com. This is Mary Maddox. This is a meditation from our Pure Relaxation CD. Welcome to this mini relaxation break. Begin by sitting comfortably and then close your eyes. Take a moment to simply become aware of what's being experienced right now. The sounds you're hearing, the feeling of your body as it sits on the chair, held in place by gravity. Just sink into that. Notice the sensations in your body, pleasant and unpleasant. Not resisting anything that's being experienced. Notice if there's any tension held anywhere in the body. And let that go. Check your shoulders. Are they being held a little high? Let them drop. Check your neck, scalp, letting any tension go. All the little muscles in your face, around your eyes, letting them relax. Your jaw, how does it feel around your jaw? Letting your jaw relax. You can even let your mouth drop open. Bringing your awareness to your breath. Noticing the breath moving in and out. The feeling of the air as it comes in and goes out. Checking your belly, seeing if it's relaxed. If not, let it soften, let it relax. Let yourself breathe into your belly, filling your lungs with air. And as the breath goes out, letting any tension go out with the breath. Just relaxing into that exhalation of the breath. Letting go of any tension, any concerns. Not getting caught up now in the stories of the mind. Noticing that thoughts come without effort. Letting them go the way they come. Not resisting thoughts. Not getting involved in the meaning of thoughts. Not resisting emotions. Noticing what emotions are present, allowing them to be felt. Not resisting anything. Totally relaxed. Relaxing into life. And bringing the awareness to the breath. Noticing how easily the breath moves in and out. Just noticing how the breath goes on its own, automatically. The in and out of the breath. And the breath goes out just naturally, carrying away anything that isn't needed. Letting everything go with the breath. So now the music will continue for some time and you can continue to relax with it, or you can finish now. Just take some time to stretch and move around a bit when you're done. slowly getting ready to continue with your day.
So open your eyes and come back into the room, back into your bodies. So what does meditating and Buddhist teachings do for me in a practical sense in my everyday life? I believe I'm simply more aware of what is going on around me and when it is happening. I'm more focused in listening to others and more present with others in general. Through being aware of my thoughts, open monitoring as they call it, I've caught myself lowering my mood through a series of negative thoughts. Friday afternoon was a beautiful day, and I went out on a bike ride, and I'd read and listened to some news that morning, and quickly found myself in a very thinking of a lot of negative thoughts about all of that. And I was on my bike riding, and I realized, come back to the present moment. It's a beautiful day. There's people out walking with their dogs, mothers out with their babies and strollers, and just a beautiful blue sky, sun out. Then my mind drifted into, well, it's climate change. It's too warm. So then I thought, I'd bring myself back again. About an hour and a half later, when the ride ended, I was pretty present in the moment. But you have to be aware of those thoughts. They can impact how you think and feel about the day and how you interact with others. But these thoughts are impermanent, and they lead to dissatisfaction or suffering and really do not represent who I am. So as I said, I catch myself doing this by being aware of the insights from Buddhist teachings, meditating and mindfulness, and being aware how my mind works through those teachings. Through being mindful, I'm able to let these negative and judgmental thoughts just pass through my mind. That in turn allows me to be more calm and present. It is a work in progress, and that is why a regular meditation practice is very helpful. So if you have any interest in this, we do have a Tuesday night meditation group here at the congregation in the sanctuary here at 5:30. Goes on for an hour. There's walking and sitting meditation, which all the members lead in the various tasks of the group. There will also be a day of mindfulness here on March 4th, put on by the Prairie River Sangha here in the sanctuary, led by Jack Lawler, who is a Dharma teacher ordained by Thich Nhat Hanh. You do have to apply for that, and there are some applications up here. In closing, to quote the Buddha, my friends, it is through the establishment of the lovely clarity of mindfulness that you can let go of grasping after the past and future, overcome attachment and grief, abandon all clinging and anxiety, and awaken an unshakable freedom of heart here, now.